right, in our last video, we created a goal to switch between different levels. And I wanted to use a similar idea, but in a slightly different way to solve another problem we've got here. Well, here I can go to that other level here. You may notice that there is sometimes some gaps or a floor or something, and maybe you want to have like a zone, a fall zone here. So this character currently is falling off the edge of the world, and we fall forever and ever and ever and ever. Which does not make very good gameplay. I mean, I can still control my character, but I'm going to keep on falling because there's nothing down there below. And often you'll want some kind of treacherous gap or something you have to jump over or some kind of obstacle that may cause you to fall to your doom or perhaps restart the level or lose a life or some points or health or something like that. So let's use this similar idea of an area 2D and to create that. So what I'm going to do is add to my level 1. I'm going to add another area 2D. In this case, I'm going to call it the fall zone. And fall zone is going to be a space down below where if I hit it or hit them, if there's multiple ones, I restart the game. Later on, we could look at lives and things like that. But let's just make this the fall zone here. Now, fall zone, as mentioned in this little error here, needs a collision shape. Now, normally I would put a graphic first of all, so that I could see it and know how big my collision shape needs to be. But in this case, I don't actually need to see the fall zone. It's just an invisible place that I might want to hit. So I am going to immediately add a collision shape to this. I'm going to make it a rectangle, like so, and I'm going to make it really, really big. So I'm just going to drag that there. And before I grab it, I'm going to move it down below to make it the right size. Oh, maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger there. Keep moving my fall zone down. I'm going to link it together so when I grab it, there we go, it doesn't change spaces. So the idea behind the fall zone here is I'm going to stretch this thing out really, really wide so that there's no chance that I couldn't hit it. It doesn't have to be that big. And maybe I'll move it down a little bit. Oops. Switch back to my movement. There we go. So now I've got this huge area down below that at some point in time when I fall, I'm going to hit it. If I put it really close, I'll die instantly, but I actually want to have this look of falling a little bit before, and I can play around with the exact positioning, but just make sure there's no way your player can get past it there. And I'm going to do the exact same idea I did with the goal. In this case, I am going to set up a signal. And before I set up that signal, I actually want to make sure I've got a script on that fall zone. So I'm going to make a fall zone script. There we go. And then go back to it. And I'm going to say, well, when a body enters the fall zone, I'm going to connect it up to its own script. Now notice I've got all these script options that I could connect to here. For reasons we'll talk about a little bit later, it's really nice if you can keep the signal sending a script to itself. Later on, you can certainly connect it to other objects. That's really, really handy. But in this case, I'm going to keep it connected to itself. And in the previous one, we said get tree. And then I changed to a different level. In this case, I want this fall zone to, I could connect it back to level 1, but then I can't use the fall zone on level 2 and level 3 and level 4. So fortunately, Godot gave us another option for change, actually, sorry, it's reload the current scene. So rather than jumping to a different scene here, it just grabs whatever scene I'm on and reloads it from the beginning. So if I'm on level 1, it'll reload level 1. If I'm on level 2, reload level 2. So notice the signal is set up there. I get tree and I reload current scene. And now, really quickly, I have an invisible little fall zone, which allows me to keep playing my game and can make some really cool little challenging um, features with using pitfalls or anything we want. Here, notice if I just fall off the edge and I hit a certain point, I jump back to the starting position. And you could do this with whatever you like. In this case, now I jump to level 2. Notice I did not put the fall zone on level 2, so it would be nice to make it its own scene so that I could bring it in onto level 2 and level 3 and level 4. And if we haven't done that yet, I didn't make it its own scene. I put it on my level 1 as a scene. But let's say you build something that later on you decide, ooh, that would be really handy to have this as its own scene. You can certainly do that. Just right click on the node and I can go down here to something called Save Branch as Scene. And this is a branch. It's got all of the little nodes on it. So it's going to basically create a scene from an existing node. And it just says, what do you want to call this? And I'm going to call that Fallzone. Save. And now you can see the little scene icon appears beside it so that it is now its own scene. So that means on level 2, I could go in and I could instantiate a fall zone as well. Find out, oh, and there it's smartly already way down below, ready to go. So now level 2 has a fall zone and we could bring that in on every level that we want.